Is it better to live in Vernon or Sicamous? We're going to look at everything that you need to know to make that decision, and we're starting now. I'm Lisa Salt with Vernon Salt Fowler, and sometimes buyers want to know, where is the better place to live? Where's the better place to move to? Vernon or Sicamous? Okanagan Lake or Shuswap or Mara Lake? Today we're going to look at the pros and cons of both places, but before we do, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video, as we're posting new videos like this every single week. On this channel we give you the straight goods on Vernon, the North Okanagan, and the Shuswap, your ultimate Four Seasons paradise. Whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, or just curious about the area that we call home, be sure to call, text, or email and just add salt. At the end of this video, I will tell you how to download our free Vernon relocation package, so stick around. So the answer to where's the better city to live, Vernon or Sicamous, is, as usual, it depends. It depends on what you want and where you stand on these 7 factors. Let's start with factor number 1, size. If you've been to Vernon and you've been to Sicamous, you will likely know right off the bat that Vernon is a lot bigger. But is bigger necessarily better? Well, maybe, maybe not. Depends. Sicamous lies nearly an hour from Vernon on the 97A North Highway, also known as the Vernon-Sicamous Highway for obvious reasons. Sicamous is actually known as the houseboat capital of the universe. Okay, so it's the houseboat capital of Canada, but it gets pretty busy in the summertime, as you would expect, as do all the Okanagan cities. Sicamous itself is a district municipality where Mara Lake empties into Shuswap Lake. It's via a short narrows, so Sicamous is right in that narrows between the two lakes. It's a resort town about halfway between Calgary and Vancouver. Again, it's the houseboat capital of Canada. In 2022, the population of Vernon itself was 44,519, which doesn't actually include Coldstream. Coldstream's its own municipality, however, still part of Greater Vernon, and that's another 11,171 folks, so let's say a total of 55,500 in total. Sicamous is slightly smaller at 2,732 people. That's it. So Vernon is about 20 times the size. Vernon actually is a small city. It's a municipality, but it's still relatively small. Sicamous, though, is a district municipality, which means the area of incorporation is greater than 800 hectares and has an average population density of less than 5 people per hectare. Did you know that? Well, you do now. I do now. I didn't know that either. Sicamous actually didn't even incorporate to become the district of Sicamous until 1989. It's not that long ago. Now in the summer, that population grows substantially, and there's probably realistically more Alberta license plates than BC plates at that time, and it grows to around 8,000 people. Being much smaller than Vernon, that brings us once again to analyzing factor number 2, which is amenities. As expected, Sicamous has way less stuff to do, way less places to shop. It's really heavily weighted as a resort town. There's lots of houseboats for sure, over 200 apparently. And for Albertans, Sicamous is only 5 hours and 17 minutes to get from Calgary versus an hour longer to get from Calgary to Vernon. So if you're in Alberta and you want to get to a lake and you don't want to go to Enderby, then Sicamous is a really good alternative time-wise. It's a really good getting away from it all town. Plus, since it's so small and more than half the license plates there are red and white, there's a pretty good chance you'll have some like-minded buddies to hang out with while you're there. Sicamous has the basics though, like the very basics, a grocery store, a couple of restaurants, gas station, etc. Some little touristy shops, places to buy paddle boards and water skis, of course, which is important around a lake. Vernon has all that, and of course more than that, including like a Starbucks and 7/8 of a Cactus Club opening soon. Now if you need an airport, from Vernon you can get to Kelowna International in 29 minutes. From Sicamous, you either have to go to Kelowna at 1 hour and 26 minutes or 2 hours to Kamloops, which is obviously longer. Hospitals, well, there isn't one right in Sicamous, although there's a very basic health center, kind of a walk-in clinic type of thing. But if you need a real hospital, you'd have to go to the regional hospital in Salmon Arm, 22 minutes away, or Vernon Jubilee is about an hour if it's something a little more major than can be fixed at Shuswap Lake General. Now let's look at industry. Factor number 3 is industry. If you need a job, it may not be super easy in Vernon, but it's much more difficult in Sicamous, obviously. The major industries in Sicamous are tourism, and more tourism. Again, houseboat capital of the universe. It's located right on a beautiful lake, and it's all about the tourism. Beautiful lakes, actually. In Vernon, the major industries are tourism as well, however, also the professional service sector, agriculture, construction, some manufacturing, and forest products as well. And although Vernon doesn't have a lot of, quote-unquote industry, there are some really cool made in Vernon success stories, such as Cal Tire, Okanagan Springs Brewery, and Tolko Industries. If you can get in with any one of those companies, you're golden. So more work in Vernon. Number 4 is water. This is a tough call. Sicamous lies, like I said, right where Mara Lake flows through the Narrows into Shuswap Lake, with Shuswap Lake itself being 310 square kilometers with over 600 kilometers of shoreline. And Mara Lake itself, between Sicamous and Enderby, is just under 20 square kilometers. With over 1,000 kilometers of shoreline surrounding Sicamous, it's really no wonder it calls itself the houseboat capital of the universe. Of Canada, actually. That is something that Vernon just can't compete with. There are no houseboats in Vernon. Not commercially run houseboats anyways. In Sicamous, there are somewhere 200, 300 houseboats that you can rent in season, ranging from 6 berths right up to 24. Now, Shuswap Lake lends itself to the houseboating with its more than 30 provincial and marine parks and unlimited water-related recreational opportunities. Alternatively, Vernon has the 3 lakes, Okanagan, Kalamalka, and Swan. All the lakes are close in. From downtown Vernon, it's literally 8 minutes to every one of these 3 lakes. However, Sicamous is right on the lake. Vernon is not right on the lake. I think that's kind of a drag. Saying that, all the lakes are beautiful in their own right. Okanagan being 135 kilometers long and 351 square kilometers and spanning from Vernon all the way to Penticton. And it was once the main traffic source taking mail and passengers up the lake to Kelowna and beyond to Penticton, etc. on the steamships. Actually, both Vernon and Sicamous were important in the running of the steamships. In the 1880s, following the construction of the Canadian Pacific Railway, Sicamous was a key point on the transcontinental mainline and an important paddle wheeler connection. The CPR ran between Sicamous and Okanagan Landing, where the paddle wheelers would then take passengers and freight further down the lake. So there's a little local history for you history buffs. Next in Vernon, lake-wise, is Lake Kalamalka, smaller lake in the Coldstream, which back in the 60s, National Geographic stated was in the top 10 most beautiful lakes in the world. And if you've seen Kalamalka Lake perform on a bright summer day, man, you'll see why. It's outstanding. And then third, we also have Swan Lake, which is more of a stagnant lake that is smaller and more of a nature reserve area. Number 5, let's look at climate. The elevation of Vernon and Sicamous is very similar, 380 meters in Vernon and 350 in Sicamous, so pretty close. Now looking at the comparison graphs, Vernon is in blue, Sicamous is in green. Most of the year, Vernon is a 1 to 2 degrees approximately warmer, and Sicamous is like 1 to 2 degrees cooler. And as you can see through this map of Vernon here, Vernon is warmer longer than Sicamous, and of course, that's why we call it the sunny Okanagan. There's a better chance of clear skies all year long. Average monthly rainfall is way less in Vernon. Rainfall in Vernon is 333 millimeters versus 860 millimeters in Sicamous, so a lot more rain in Sicamous. Then snowfall, as to be expected. If there's more rain, there's probably more snow, and you can see this from this graph here that yes, there is more snow in Sicamous. Now, hours of sunshine, something I think is important. Vernon 2026 and Sicamous, get this, 2,880. Vernon gets beat on the sun meter. Well done, Sicamous. Now let's look at house prices. Our analysis is never complete until we look at how much it costs to live in both places. Average house price in Sicamous is $558,200 as of August 2022, and Vernon is $739,000. So Sicamous certainly wins the affordability game. And selection-wise, at this time, there are 365 single-family homes for sale in Greater Vernon, and in Sicamous, there are 314. I was absolutely shocked. It seems odd that so many places are for sale there right now, and about the, almost the same as there is in Vernon, at least according to the MLS system. I really thought there would be less to choose from. However, the numbers prove me wrong. So Sicamous, again, definitely wins the real estate comparison game, affordability-wise. Last but not least, fun stuff to do. As I said before, many times, Sicamous, houseboat capital. So there's that. And the reason that area is so great for houseboats is because of how much shoreline there is. We talked about that a little bit before, but how much of that shoreline really lends itself to boats and particularly houseboat docking. And also there are so many lake parks as well to stop and enjoy houseboating. This is something we don't have in Vernon. The Vernon Lakeshore is way more developed. There aren't as many parks or open areas to dock at for sure. Now, other things to do are all those outdoor activities that you can enjoy in both places, being golfing and fishing and hiking. And whether you live in Sicamous or in Vernon, the closest downhill ski area is Silver Star, conveniently located 27 minutes outside of downtown Vernon and 1 hour and 15 minutes from Sicamous. Sicamous, though, does have a popular cross-country skiing scene in the winter, as well as world-class snowmobiling. One of the main must-sees in Sicamous is the D. Dutchman Dairy, where you can visit their farm store, have some cheese, of course, and hang out with the animals. Although Vernon doesn't have a D. Dutchman Dairy, we do have a bunch of other cool stuff like Davison Orchards, Planet B, O'Keefe Ranch, and many other attractions that you can see by watching our video, 9 Fun and Touristy Things to Do in Vernon, BC. And those are the major differences between Vernon and Sicamous. They are both very different, although really they're only an hour apart. Both very nice summer paradise locations, and now it's up to you to pick which one you would rather live in or visit. For more information on Vernon specifically, please download our Vernon Relocation Package at vernonrelocation.com. The link is below.